PalmerJr.eth. I'm hanging out here with Bama.eth, and we're talking about minting coins. We're talking about Web3 class, and we are here to chat all things Web3 ENS and fun things like that. We're also on Twitter Spaces, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and elsewhere. Feel free to check us out. Jump into space, jump in the room, and let's talk about it. There's a lot to talk about.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm on a boat in the Bahamas currently, so it's been good. I sniped a premium ENS domain this morning, so life's good. I'm here on a space talking crypto, so I'm right here in my element. So I'm just sharing this space on my socials. But yeah, it's been a good day so far for me. Good week. That was a really good space we had last week too, though.
It was a great space we had last week. Last week we had Brantley on the space, and we were talking about Grails, and we were talking about Web3, and it was really cool. I think, yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot, and Brantley is always like super educational.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. I learned a lot about Grails also, and I actually seen a question that someone asked about. Let me see. I'm just sharing this. I seen a question someone asked about the header on your Grails profile. That how do you change that?
Last week.
What is it?
Did they ask that this week or last week?
No. Somebody, I seen Diamond ask a question in one of the group chats about the header, and if he's watching this, I think that's actually tied to your ENS records. Isn't that what we figured out last week? It's
oh yeah,
it's tied. Mm-hmm. So it's you got to adjust your ENS records to change all that. Let me see.
Yeah, we could like probably check out my records, for example. Let me think. If I go to,
I got to do better.
App and check out Gary Palmer Jr. And yeah, if we look at my records here, we're talking about the header, right? So we're talking about the header.
Yeah, the header on your profile.
Yep. There's a field called header, and then in that field called header, you can put the image. The image URL, and then you can basically hot link a Web2 URL, or you can hot link, let's see here, yeah, or you could hot link it like an IPFS URL or anything.
I've seen something ENS shared this morning, man, and I'm trying to like go through all the sensory overload while I'm on this ship. It was something to do with IPFS and cloud storage, and I'm gonna find that. That's interesting to talk about. If anyone, you'll know about this. So I'm gonna see if I can go back and find this while we're talking. I'm glad our spaces are consistent though, so hopefully we'll be picking up like an audience to come in every Wednesday and Sunday for the most part. We've been cranking them out.
Yeah.
Let me find this. I want to find this on that because you're the perfect person to ask. Google Cloud.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if people can hear us in the blue space. We're still trying to figure out this tech, man. So
yeah, we'll be winging it. We legitimately wing it.
Once we really figure out this tech and how the tech is working, and like making sure people can hear us.
Where was this I seen? Looks like in practice, even if Fileverse disappears, the apps go down or the team vanishes. Was it this tweet?
I tweeted something about that, and ENS domains also tweeted something about that.
Yeah, that's I was looking for that. It was something to do. You said IPFS. It triggered that tweet that I seen they posted. Hey, do you see what's this ERC 8004 ecosystem map? This ENS is on it, but it's about here's the team building a trustless AI agents ecosystem. Man, that's great. Did you see that new thing that I haven't used it yet? That Claude released, Claude Cowork. Have you seen that?
Yeah, the Claude ENS integration into the Google. It was like Google Gemini, wasn't it, or is it Claude?
No. Claude, I was talking about Claude Cowork. It's like a software where you can deploy multiple agents and build applications and stuff, like deploying multiple agents simultaneously. What are you talking about? Did ENS get integrated in something Google?
I need to. I want to make sure I'm saying, we're talking about things accurately.
That's huge. If that's what you're talking about.
So we need to. I'm going to go to the ENS domains Twitter. And let's see what their recent news is. So, all right. So Nick was speaking in a space earlier today. Let me think. January 19th, ENS data is now live on Google Cloud BigQuery. So ENS Domains tweeted that our community data set is available for researchers, developers, and data teams that want to experiment with ENS analytics and on-chain naming. So you can query ENS data at scale with simple SQL and the help of the Gemini app. So the Gemini app is Google Gemini, and the Gemini app turns research and reality and bringing like AI experience together and deep think together. It's like the Google AI, and so so that right there is big news. How the ENS data is live on the Google Cloud BigQuery and Gemini app.
That is huge. I missed that. I didn't even see that until you just brought that up. But hey, that makes me think. Have you thought of this? Gemini or Google Gemini is like is within Google, right? But there's also Gemini Exchange. You know what I mean? That seems like a freaking, you know what I mean? It's like, which one? Especially when they're both in the tech field, both called the same. It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's interesting when there's two different what do you call it?
Companies.
Like companies or like brands, right? When there's two different brands that are sharing the same name. Like sometimes it's like Amazon Rainforest and Amazon the company, but in this case, these are two large commercial entities that both share the Gemini brand.
Tech companies at that, that's wild. That's wild that would
tech happen. Companies. Yeah, I mean, you say tech companies. Everything is a tech. Everything is. If you're a bubblegum company, you should be a tech company. Every company in the world should be a tech company. So one of them is an exchange, is a cryptocurrency financial market exchange, and the other one is like an AI engine. So it's it is different types of tech. You could say.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just thought that was interesting when you were saying that, because my mind immediately thinks Gemini Exchange, and then you're talking Google Cloud Gemini. That's interesting though, nonetheless.
Well, it's both, because there's Google, and then Google owns Google Cloud, that Google owns Google Gemini, and so now the ENS data is integrated in all three.
But how they gonna feel now that Gemini Exchange has Gemini.eth? Because I've seen them rocking it on. There can only be one. You know what I mean? That's gonna be, the exchange. I'm pretty sure they have it. I've seen them rocking it on X before.
They have to pick a. They have to pick a. They have to pick a different space.
Google Gemini.eth,
or a different name.
I picked the export up today. I feel like that was a good one. I have import also, and I feel like I completed the set by having import and export. I feel like it made like superpowers of each one of them.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm trying to figure out the audio.
I can't hear you.
Ada saying that in the blue Twitter space that she can't hear me. So Super Thing, let me know if you can hear us. Super Thing's in a Twitter. I don't see you in a blue space. Did you jump into blue space?
Me?
No, Ada. Yeah, the blue Twitter space. I don't see you in there. You are. Yeah, I'm getting mixed messaging if people can hear us in the blue Twitter space. Yeah, because if people do want to like participate in the conversation, then right now the way they gotta participate in a conversation is through the blue space. So I'm trying to figure out if if the blue space is working or not.
Yeah, a super thing. I just see him in there. I'm not sure if it works. I know I sounded terrible in the past on him, but we can troubleshoot that this weekend.
Yeah, I mean the blue Twitter space is sort of the least important, but I would like to get it figured out just because traditionally speaking, our people like to hang out in a blue Twitter space.
Yeah, because some Careless came up and talked to us in the blue
Super Thing
space.
says yes, he can hear us, and he's in a blue Twitter space.
Okay, perfect. Good to be here, just
You
listening
turn up your
today.
volume. Yeah, yeah. See, yeah, I don't know. Ada says she can't hear us though, so I don't know. Can you hear it? If you, what happens if you listen to your blue space?
Say something.
Something something. I'm asking you if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you
No, I
hear?
can't either.
You can't.
Uh-uh.
Mr. Bush, where are you listening? Mr. Bush, are you listening in the red space or the red space or the blue space? Mr. Bush can hear us.
I don't know. Maybe it's because we're on the stream or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like I said, Super Thing said he can hear us, and Ada.eth said she can't hear us.
But I can't hear us in the blue or the red, so I think it's something to do with being logged on. So yeah, we'll keep
Can you
rolling
hear
it.
us in the red space? Damn, it sounds good in the red space. All right. Well,
Bama,
YouTube, I think we sound good.
Bama sounds hungover in the red space. Nah,
No, you started sounding less hungover. You're doing good.
yeah, that's interesting though with the ENS and Google. I didn't even see that. There's been so much news. This is what I'm talking about. I've been out here 2 days, right? I've missed so much stuff. You can't even keep up with it at night. Just news just passing. I know that they have that Davos that summit right now. I've been seeing stuff on X about that. I haven't even honestly been able to keep up with anything, which I assume it hasn't been anything big because the markets haven't moved hugely. So, but yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to be back on track.
Super good to be on track. Yeah, I mean, we're like in ordinary time of the year. You know, we're past the what are we past? We're past the holidays and we're past like the new year, and you know, people are just like chilling and cruising. You know, well, you know, we have Valentine's Day coming up. We have Groundhog's Day coming up. What else we got? We got tax day coming up. That's a holiday.
Yeah, so I got to do my taxes.
You
Oh
and
man,
you
I
and
don't
all
even
of
think.
America.
Yeah, you know, I usually would do my taxes and I would renew my domains with my refund, and so I renewed them all in December this year instead. So I guess I'll just DCA into crypto with the tax returns when I get them. So that'll be good. Uh, yeah, man, there's so much heat coming down premium right now, Gary. Have you taken a look at this? Have you looked and seen what's coming down?
Yeah, I've seen a lot, and a lot that I've seen people take. You know, like Andrea was a huge deal, and then you getting the export, the match the import was a huge deal.
Yeah,
So
Andrea was
there's like
strong.
yeah, and Andrea is super significant. You know, I mean that's like you know that's $100,000 domain in an easy market.
I think so. Yeah, it's good to see Maxi coming around, and I called him name Maxi on. I commented. It's good to see. I'm telling you, I'm so bullish on first and last names. That's like the target outside of like just industries, generic industries. That's probably my most favorite category. But look, there's what's coming down, man. Have you seen Brooke is coming down in premium? Ashley is coming down in premium. There is some straight heat coming in names. The names category alone.
There's a lot of names coming down in premium, and the thing with those names are that the you know there's only so many good names, and the sleeping giant is really Grails, right? Because as people like you and me have been seeing, and the ENS whales have been seeing, Grails is moving at lightning speed.
Mhm.
There's just massive amounts of updates and changes on like every single level, and then the number of categories are increasing more and more, and so part of what Grails is doing is an infrastructure play and a data play. And the way that they're able to like pull data from the blockchain and then parse data by adding, you know, data to the name records, right? There's only so many good names. There's only so many like real good first names. There's only so many real good, last names. There's only so many names of animals. There's only so many names of colors. Each of these is like a PFP collection. It's an extremely limited, number, and they're not all the same,
Yeah.
And so like, we're talking about these names coming down. There's a lot of names coming down. There's a couple of portfolios. We don't know if they're going to renew. And as these names come down, there's a lot of people that are paying attention because we can see that these names are added to people's watch list.
That's cool to see.
Yeah.
I'll say that's cool to see when you're going to register something off premium. You can see how many people. There's 12 people watching export. I don't know. It may make you overpay too, though. You know what I mean? It's like, I got to get it before they, you know what I mean? Knowing 12 other people are watching it come down.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can sort those names by watch list, and you can sort those names by views.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. So I was never like a big subdomain. I mean, I get it. Like I see the base.eth names, you know what I mean, for Coinbase. But one thing that I always thought I always thought about this in the back of my mind, but never used it as like a buying factor when I purchased these names is some of these surnames, man, it's got millions of people. Like if subnames become a thing, you know what I mean? Like Gary dot Keith, you know what I mean? Like that could be a freaking whole. It's like owning real estate. You know what I mean? Just sitting there and just cooking off subdomain renewals. Not sure that it'll ever even become a thing, but I mean, in theory, just like you said, there can only be that one name. You know what I mean? Somebody can make like a couple iterations of it, but I think, man, if you like Smith, how many millions of people say there's 2 million Smiths? If you just get 100,000 at $5, you know what I mean? Like that could be crazy income coming from, and you own the underlying asset still. You know, I'm curious to see how that's going to do in like ENS v2. They're going to have that for subdomains and stuff, right? I seen that it said every name's going to have its own registrar, but I don't really understand that. I don't really like understand because I've never done it. You know what I mean? So that's going to be interesting whenever that launches. It's supposed to, from what I've read and what I've heard, it's gonna make it super easy if you want to create subdomains. But am I right on that? I ain't saying nothing incorrect. Isn't ENSV2? They said that each name's gonna have its own registrar.
Yeah, like every name, yeah, like every name is super. Every name is super powered. Instead of the system being super powered, every ENS name becomes super powered. And so instead of having all the rules at the system, ENS level, every individual name is going to be able to set its own unique rules. And so it just supersizes the amount of power the system has because every individual name can create its own set of rules for its own subdomains. And that's, just gives every name a lot more power than what it has now with ENS v1 because there's much more limitations because the power currently isn't built directly into every individual name. And so there's like, so that's why you got to wrap the name and you got to do this, you know what I mean? To like add on the powers. But in the new system, there's going to be a lot more features, a lot more benefits, and in everything working with everything just more seamlessly out of the box.
It's going to be just okay.
And the whole thing with the subdomains is that you just gotta realize like nothing is magic, right? There is no magic, or a better way to say that is all like magic is real, but all magic is science. Magic is real, but all magic is science. So
there's different levels to this magic.
There's different levels to this magic. So let's see here. So when you have an ENS name, it's not just going to like be like a magic beanstalk and just like do magic. You have to do the work. You have to have a brand. You have to have a plan. You have to have the people. You have to put the pieces together. You have to get the word out there, and you have to make it meaningful. You got to, if you built an app, like just because you built an app doesn't mean that people are going to use it. Mm-hmm. Just because you build a website doesn't mean people are going to go to it. So if you do like a subdomain thing, that subdomain thing needs to be able to carry itself. It needs to be able to carry itself because of whatever it's connected to, whatever person, brand, thing it's connected to. It's got to be connected to something that has some sort of energy or synergy behind it, right? It has to be like a person or a product or a service or a brand that sells, like a product or a service, or sells like entertainment, where someone's going to want to be a part of it. So like if like Mr. Beast was to like say, hey, get a free subdomain, or, buy a subdomain $1 a year. And he could, like some people are going to want it, Mr. Beast subdomain.
Hey, did you see what happened with him? Speaking of him, did you see where the Bitmine just like partnered with him?
Yeah.
I think it was Bitmine.
Yeah. They have Bitmine.
Yeah, they invested like a ton of money.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure their name is Bitmine with Tom Lee.
Yeah, that's a huge pick line, man. Straight into like a audience of millions. You know what I mean? Like the ENS could come to fruition out of that, man. I mean, I say that, but I don't even see Tom Lee with the ENS, and that's a whole nother story. I don't know why this guy doesn't. You know what I mean? How can you be that much of an ETH maxi and not have your ENS?
I think they move slow.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Hey, let me ask you this though. This is just a question I have for subdomains. We're talking about them. What's stopping someone? Say you own Smith, and you're like, hey, the example I gave, and you're going to lease out $5 for a year of subdomains off Smith. What's stopping you from selling the underlying asset? And like, so can the asset move hands, but the contract is still the same, that those subdomains are good for a year? Or if you're the one that
the rules could be set up. The rules could be set up like however you want the rules to be set up, and it's going to be a lot easier to set up the rules in
so you can set it up however. That's interesting. And I'm assuming it's going to be easy to read, not like a technical contract. You know what I mean? Whenever you're trying to, it's going to have to be like user friendly. That's one thing I see for people to know what's wrapped and what's not wrapped. Remember on Vision? I remember when the name wrapper came and it was like all these fuses and all this stuff. I remember having to pay attention when I was buying these names on secondary to see what fuses were burned and whatnot.
Yeah. I also do not know.
Yeah, but I think that Mr. Beast news is huge for Ethereum.
Sorry, my phone was messing around. Looks like sorry, I was touching the audio for the phone, and it activated some AI search feature. Very, very weird. Oh wait, I wonder if I just fixed it.
I just heard you. Yeah, you just started coming through space.
Goodness, I think I just fixed it. This whole
time. No, I can hear the volume now. What did you do? You did
something. I think something wasn't connected fully.
Yeah, we're good now.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you had a plug not plugged in all the way?
Yeah. Oh man, if you saw the setup, I have the setup pretty locked down. I know all the equipment that I need and how to connect everything, and I know all the pieces now and what direction things should be connected. And I do need to label some of my buttons because I don't know where the drums are and where the record is. I don't know. So I got some of that fun stuff. But all right, cool. That's fixed. Anyway, dude, the subdomain thing is huge. Because you have to think about this. I don't know how much you know about like, like really, really know about ads and, data analytics and data collection. Like I know you do high level stuff, but like, I don't know if you like have like a database of like all your customers who have, like ever made a purchase. And
Hmm.
then, I just, I'm getting feedback from your phone. I can hear your phone in the background.
Can you? Yeah,
Yeah.
I set it off to the side. Let me see here.
Yeah. No, you have to set it up farther. Yeah. I go through that too. I have like two phones. I have to use two phones to make it work.
Let's see if I can. What about now? Is that better?
I think so. Yeah. Um, yeah. If Mr. Beast or Beyonce, if they do subdomains and all their people get a subdomain, right? Mr. Beast analytics team is going to be able to look at every single wallet that has a Mr. Beast subdomain ENS NFT.
Hmm.
Think about that. If like all these people get ENS subdomains from Mr. Beast, now we can see all the wallets that have a Mr. Beast subdomain, right? Make sense?
Yeah.
Once you could see all the people that have a Mr. Beast ENS subdomain, you could now run all the analytics to say, what other NFT projects do they have? And you can find out that a large percentage of people who have a Mr. Beast NFT, they also have a Bored Ape, or they also have a V Friend, or they also have a this ENS, or they also have this PFP. And that tells you like who your audience is and what they're interested in, right? It tells you how expensive the NFTs are that they've already purchased. It tells you what other cryptocurrencies they've transacted with in that wallet, what other projects they've participated with, what other POAPs they have in that wallet, which is the same wallet that they have a Mr. Beast subdomain in. And that sort of analytics is extremely valuable and extremely useful and extremely monetizable for the brand who is either using it directly or indirectly. And so, someone like, Beyonce or Taylor Swift, or even someone like smaller, can release subdomains basically directly to the consumer. Sure, they probably got to pay an agent fee. They're probably going to lose 10 or 20% between the agent and the tech team. But that's a lot better than losing 40% to Apple.
Yeah, right.
And so that's a lot better. 40% to Apple plus 10% to your agent plus 10% to your tech team, right? 50%, 60% right there, right? Then you got to pay taxes versus 20% paying taxes. And so you can basically go direct consumer, $5 a domain, sell 200,000 domains, make $1 million of a gross revenue. And and then that's reoccurring revenue, annual reoccurring revenue, ARR. And then you have the data to be like, wow, out of 200,000, we have this many V Friends and this many Bored Apes and this many penguins, and this many people have interacted with these sort of projects. And so now we know which projects we should sort of collab with in the Web3 space, right? Like, listen, man, if you're like, I mean, if you're selling cars and you find out every freaking person who bought a particular freaking car has a daughter in sports, and you noticed a weird trend like that, like every single person that bought this type of car has a daughter in sports, like that's really weird. And now you'd be like, you take that information and you'd be like, we absolutely need to target people that have daughters in sports.
Yeah, we need to advertise at the ball fields.
Yeah, like I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, like, like you could notice these patterns. And so you can notice those patterns with the Web3 data, even because right now with Web2, it's super crazy with email and taking email and connecting all your data in the world together. Like you don't, like most people don't understand the level of privacy invasion that they're going through.
Talking about like signing with Google.
I'm talking
just in
about
general?
I'm talking about like sort of deeper and more broadly, everything from you visit a website and you start seeing ads about that website to
Oh yeah,
you talk
yeah.
about something and you start seeing ads for that thing. So there's a lot of things that happen with like knowing, like, sometimes people get ads to their house because advertising that they're having a baby and they don't even know they're pregnant yet. Right?
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
like
wild.
there's predictive analytics of if this, then that, to
Hmm.
say that people do this or are probably doing this, and then people are just like making money any possible way because direct mail is only so cheap and email is only so cheap, and you can do like sort of like cheap ads with like retargeting and stuff like that.
Hey, but speaking of ads, you want me to tell you something? You touched on this earlier. You want me to tell you something I figured out with Apple? Do you know that Apple, and I think this model's going to break. I don't think in the future it's going to, I think this technology is going to like streamline like peer to peer and just all that as opposed to what Apple's doing. So say I create an ad on Facebook, right? And I do it on my MacBook right here that I'm on now. And it's funny I say this on a MacBook, but do you know if I deploy an ad on Facebook using an Apple product, they charge me a fee as opposed to if I do not use an Apple product? Do you know if I create that just because I'm using an Apple device, they charge me a fee? And it took me a minute, like when I first started launching ads, to realize this, right? But I was like, dang, what is this like, this extra fee, And I noticed that I wouldn't get it whenever I used a non-Apple device. So that is crazy. That's good to know though. You know what I mean? If you're doing stuff that they're just taking money, essentially, you know what I mean? It's like you're using our device, so we're going to charge you. That's essentially what they're doing. And I don't see how that's ever going to make it. It may be good now, and they've got the large portion of users, you know what I mean? But I don't look at that as being good. Yeah, they're making money. I'm sure it's boosting their stock price, but I think that's terrible. Just based on your device, you're getting charged a fee. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of things are like that, where it's cheaper if you do it through the website versus doing it through the Apple, and that's because anything that goes through the Apple phone, it has to go through the Apple Store. And there was so many years ago, there was a not that long ago, a couple of years ago, there was a big Court case that said uh, basically you're allowed to charge people money on off your own website, because Apple was trying to say you're not allowed to charge people money on your own website. And so that went to the like basically the Supreme Court, and so now people are allowed to, have a different price off of Apple, but Apple still gets to have total control of what goes through Apple.
Gosh,
And
wild.
so if you're paying like $40 a month for Twitter, right? That's $480, right? A year.
Mhm.
If you do it through the iPhone, you're going to be paying like over $500
Yeah, that's wild.
versus doing it through the website. You're going to be paying less than 500.
Gary, I need to get you talking deep in this decentralized technology and get you jumping around like you was the. I remember, boy, you was excited a couple
People pe-
streams ago.
people aren't ready, man. People aren't ready to hear what we got to say yet. Because the
Yeah, no,
everything is you know what I was realizing today, because I was thinking super deep about blockchain technology on a super um on a super deep level, let's say. And at the end of my thought experiment, what I kind of realized is that once like enough people, like, because there's a lot of people that just are into space and they want to make money, and a lot of people messing around, and we're always like, why aren't more people using .eth, you know what I mean, and why aren't more people doing this, and why aren't more people doing that.
mhm.
What I realized today is like, once people have an idea of what this technology is that you and I evangelize, um, and once they start like seeing some of the implications of companies adopting this technology, people are gonna get really, really scared. I think. I
You
think
talking about
like,
like the general public?
I mean, just anybody who understands like where all of this is going, right? Because like the whole thing with Web3 technology and the whole thing with AI and the whole thing with decentralized networks and we like humans and AI are going to be able to have access to systems that are 100% absolutely immutable, right? Absolutely decentralized. And we always talk about this from sort of like an independent person's perspective. But I don't think people understand what it means for an AI agent to be truly autonomous, right? Like, okay, so imagine, and man, I really don't want to talk about all this, but imagine, like an anime, or some sort of like crazy movie, right? Where there's like an electric ghost in the machine, and the ghost is like it's like in the internet, right? You're trying to find like where it is, and you're trying to think, well, okay, where is it? Like how do you find like an entity inside the internet, right? If there's an AI agent or like a living like ghost inside a computer network, how do you isolate uh that creature, right?
Identifiers.
How do you isolate that data? Yeah, but even if you identify it, right, it's like it's possible for the AI agent to duplicate and distribute itself, across a decentralized network of its own. And even if you take down the internet, like you could make it so it's impossible to lose data, right? Like if we have a big solar flare and the internet goes down, it's only a matter of time before the internet comes back up and before the Bitcoin network comes back up. And, we'll have to see like what the longest chain is with the Bitcoin network. And we'll have to like see like what the consensus is with EVM blockchains. But, you're not really going to be able to, like you're not going to be able to turn anything off, right? You're not going to be able to turn anything off. You're not going to be able to turn off like if there's man, if there's like anything that's man, it's so deep. Like right now the internet is really really dumb, and right now it's like the internet is really really limited. But what like blockchain removes the middlemen for me and you. Blockchain removes the middlemen for corporations. Blockchain removes the middlemen for the government. Blockchain removes the middlemen for the AI. And so the internet is actually going to be able to run autonomously
And efficient.
and efficiently, all by itself.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but there's going to be all these like right now an AI agent can't work online, because every AI agent online needs to be connected to basically a computer or a server somewhere. But once blockchain technology really takes off, an AI agent is going to be able to live anywhere, right? And you're not going to be able to turn off an AI agent. There's going to be rogue AI agents like out there that you're not going to be able to turn off, because the blockchain technology allows it to exist everywhere or anywhere. And there's not like a server where they can go necessarily shut down. Yeah, it gets like really really crazy. But
you know what's crazy is
it's a system. It's basically like whatever system gets developed, we're not going to be able to shut it off, right?
that makes me think of Vitalik's movie. You know, the indie film that he made. It was like there is no off switch. You've created life. You know what I mean? So I see exactly what you're talking. That's what it makes me think of. But think about
I didn't know
this.
that. What's this
Yeah,
movie? I gotta check out this movie if Vitalik did.
No, yeah, it's really good, man. I'll find it and I'll DM it to you. I watched it. But yes, it's the I think it's the Ethereum story or something. Came out like a few months back. But
Yeah,
I
it's totally
think that,
true.
huh?
That's true. It's alive. Ethereum is alive, and Ethereum is a piece of the internet. Ethereum is a puzzle piece of the internet that expands and extends the internet. We're not building a new internet. That's just marketing jargon. Okay,
Right.
where Ethereum specifically and
A layer.
EVM technologies are simply protocols that are internet protocols that are being added to the
Hmm.
Web 2 protocols, which have been added to the Web 1 protocols. And we have browsers with HTTP, we have security with SSL, we have email with SMTP, we have the internet with TCP IP, right? I don't know if you like heard of these, right? Um, and like the ETH is just adding the smart contract settlement layer. The ENS is adding, this human readable identity layer,
Hmm.
which connects with like W3C identifiers. Like all of these things are super connected, and we're just evolving the internet so the internet can stand alone, uh, more so, right? And yeah, everything's going to be more efficient. And like AI plus Web3, basically eliminates lawyers. It eliminates like payment processing because like if you have like an invoice or a contract with someone that says you're going to pay me this much money to do this, and now I have to like write a contract, and I got to have my lawyers look at that, and then I have to like validate that you did the work, and then I have to go cut a check, and I got to mail the check, and I have to do the accounting, right? There's a lot of work right there.
Hmm.
But if I have AI plus Web3 and someone does the work and just we can prove you did the work, and then because you did the work, you just instantly get paid. It's like a crypto thing. There's just like you just cryptographically the work is done, you get paid, right?
Hmm.
Now you don't need lawyers. Now you don't need the accountant. Now you don't need the anything, right? So you don't need anything. It just gets done. You say, I want to get this done. It gets done. They get paid. It's all done. It's all the blockchain. It's all in the blockchain transaction. It's all proven on chain. It all stands up in court. It's all validated across the network. And that allows AIs to work with AIs. It allows people to work with AIs. It allows people to work with people.
That's coming fast though. I read something today. I think Anthropic CEO said that software engineers within 6 to 12 months could be replaced by AI agents doing everything end to end. You know what I mean? Like that's interesting. I read another article that kind of made me feed into that, and it was talking about AI displacing jobs and them having to print more money and that money overflowing into Bitcoin. So AI is going to be bullish for Bitcoin price because the more printed money from the destabilization of AI initially is going to flow into the fixed asset. And that made total sense to me. But let me ask you this. I think humanoid robots are going to be controlling AI agents. You know what I mean? I think you're going to give like a humanoid a task and it's going to like handle the task with a little AI agent. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting to see where. So here's
No,
my
that's
question.
that's 100% true.
That's what it makes me think.
But
But let me ask you.
think of the AI agents like the bots and people might have a handful of AI agents that we regularly employ, like
Mhm.
assistants, whatnot. Maybe we have subscriptions, maybe we don't. But most other bots, we're going to be using lots of bots and lots of AIs, physical and not physical. Think of them as contractors.
Mhm.
So we're going to need something done. We're going to hire a contractor. That contractor might be an AI bot. And we're going to be hiring contractors all the time. Like if you need a AI bot, you don't need to hire that graphics AI bot like 24/7. But there might be like a couple times in your life where you got to get some graphics done, right? And or there might be like this physical bot you're talking about where it's like I need to make a graphic, right? So I'm going to employ a graphic AI bot, right? And it's going to have a contract with it, and it's going to be on the blockchain. So you're 100% right. There's going to be humans. There's going to be physical humans. There's going to be physical non-humans. Then there's going to be digital non-humans.
So let me ask you this. And I assume that these humanoid robots they're already out. You can get like Unitree. I see you can actually get a Unitree humanoid. But for one, I think that tech is going to go down, and it's probably a terrible comparison, but I think to like a TV, like every year they're expensive when they come out, and they get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. You know what I mean? As the tech advances. But do you think there is a significant advantage of getting one of these Gen 1 humanoid robots when they release as opposed to waiting? Like, do you think it can make life more efficient or fuel income at the end of the day, generate income that would make it worth getting, say, a Gen 1 when they release these? Let's just say Tesla. Use Tesla as an example. Getting it right off the rip, because you know it's going to be most expensive when it first comes out, right? But do you think you're going to be able to do enough with it to justify that higher price? Or would it put you at an advantage to get it? I guess that would be the easiest question. Do you think it would put you at an advantage to get one of these Gen 1 Tesla humanoid robots when they launch? You know what I mean? As opposed to the price. Because I see it coming down rapidly over the years, and it's going to be interesting. That's something I've debated on. I think it would be cool, like riding around with one, like in the car with me. But that's just wild times, man, we're entering. But I think about that often. Did that question make sense?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if it's something that you can purchase, like an iPhone, I don't think you're going to be able to purchase these Tesla bots. I think these Tesla bots are going to be by lease only. I think
Oh.
by lease. That's my guess. You
Hmm.
know, I sort of like have heard a little bit of like back and forth about this, but and so I really don't know. No, but my guess is that they're going to be for lease only, not for sale at all. And if they were for sale, then I would say the play would be to purchase one and never take it out of the box, right? And 10 years later, you're going to get like 10 to 100x your money because someone's going to want like a Gen 1 never used, right? Like anything else. But if you're talking about like just like using it, then you have to have the disposable income to even entertain such an idea. Because if you want to be an early adopter, it's expensive to be an early adopter.
Hmm.
And then you also got to like know, are you just messing around, or do you got a real purpose that you can use this for, where maybe you might actually be able to get a return on your money,
Hmm.
right? Other than that, I always like going for the second version, right? Like sometimes you get the first version, and the first version is better than the second version. They take away something good, and the second version is actually worse. But more often than not, the second version comes out and it fixed all the bugs from the first version.
Do you want to hear something? Not to cut you off,
No.
where the second version got worse than the first version. You know,
Oh yeah, tell me.
when I was in Asia, I bought these Meta glasses, right? And I actually have them. Not right here. They're over here somewhere. But the Meta AI glasses. Do you know the Gen 1 glasses let you live stream to Facebook? And I look forward to that. And when I got my new ones, my Gen 2, when I moved back, and because my Gen 1 messed up. But when I got my Gen 2, I was so excited, and I found out they removed that feature on Gen 2. Is that not crazy? Like they removed, it's Meta, so it's Facebook, and I'm sure there's some reason behind it, but the Gen 1s you can stream to Facebook, Gen 2s you can't.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that's why I'd be remiss if I didn't say that. But it is possible
Hmm.
that like sometimes the next version is not as good as the first version.
Especially dealing with technology too. I can see that.
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, because just sometimes they just take away a cool feature.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. I haven't even thought of leasing. Yeah, that does make sense though. It's gonna be wild. It's coming quick, man. All this is gonna be a wild year, Gary. This is gonna be a wild, turbulent year with AI. I think. I think it's only gonna get smarter. And then you've got Elon, which is like a tech goat that's telling you singularities here. You know what I mean? In 2026. So it's interesting times, man. One thing I think society's lucky to have us degens that are plugged into this tech. You know what I mean? Because it's like people are just distracted, man, out there, have no clue, don't care, want to know the score on the Red Wings game. You know what I mean? And it's like this stuff's just like boom, 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 like freaking advancing quickly. So it's gonna be a crazy year. I look forward to it, man. It's gonna be tough to even. It's tough to keep up with headlines now, man, on all the news. Can you imagine? This is it's crazy times.
Yeah, no, there's a lot happening with AI, and the AI thing is interesting because the market's going up. The market's going up, and how much can the market go up before the market goes down? It kind of feels it already feels kind of frothy. You know what I mean? Because we have
Right.
this circular. How OpenAI, is basically getting investment money from all these companies, but OpenAI is just, basically giving like it's like an exchange of stock, and then this, they announce, they make the announcement, and the stock price goes up, and um, it's just the way that all the AI stocks are going up, and just everything in the market, just really, really, frothy. And at the same time, behind the scenes, I've been saying it for a long time, but there are, really major systemic issues in terms of the banking system and how much money is going around for, to allow the banking system to have the liquidity that the banking system needs.
Right.
I don't want to get like geeky with that, but there's like repo markets, like major banking repo markets that just allow for the liquidity of these major banks, and these major banks don't have enough money to settle the books, right? At like billions and trillions of dollars of daily settlements that are more and more difficult for the banks to settle,
Hmm.
and then all of that is completely separate from how uh, banks are just have like these major losses on paper, and these are on paper unrealized losses. And so there's just a lot of bearish, like there's a huge bearish foundation for like where the banks are and potentially where the economy is. And it's one of those situations where the market can stay irrational longer than people can stay sane or solvent.
Hmm.
And you know, I guess meme wise in the zeitgeist, 2026 is predicted to be a very, very bullish year. And, it's like, sort of going into an election year, and we're hearing a lot about the economy. And so, to make the things happen that the president in power wants to happen, long story short, they're going to have to print a lot of money. They want interest rates to come down. They want to do all of this investment. They want to, um, like purchase Greenland and, increase defense and, increase AI and increase energy. And there's a lot of like increases of spending, and uh, all of that decrease in increase in spending and decrease in interest rates basically means that there's going to be a lot of additional money like coming into the market, and it's going to be continuing the flood into the market. It's going to be helping the banks the most. It's going to be helping asset owners the most. Um, you know, uh, t- Companies building AI that have stocks. It's going to be helping them the most.
The data centers too. That's been a lot of talk this.
Data centers, energy companies, chip manufacturers. There's all sorts of stuff. But it's at some point, right? It's how long can we make things go up before things don't go up? It's
Yeah, no.
then it's kind of scary because it does get us into a situation where if there was a potential global war, then that would be increased spending, um, which would, I don't know. I mean, war is good for the economy, generally speaking, is how to think about that. Which is why sometimes presidents do it. But let's see here. So some of the comments.
I can't see. Yeah, you have to read them
You
through my phone.
you don't have the comment. You don't have, like, the comments tab on the right.
Oh yeah. Chat. Okay, I see.
Yeah. So on God is saying what's up. That's Mr. Bush over there. The zero XX.
Homie.
And then he's saying that Grok owning drb.eth just opened up the floodgates to the general public about the use cases and inevitability of ENS and AI agents. Yeah, that definitely helps. I don't see .com taking the charge. It's not really about .com taking the charge. It's about what is it about? It's about companies understanding how to hook into EVM technology. Yeah, like, we don't want to miss the forest from the trees. It's like ENS is nice, but the inevitability isn't about .com or .eth. It's a little bit of a red herring when people sort of, like, knowingly or unknowingly focus on that. Because there's almost no difference between .com and .eth. There's
You're saying there's no
obviously
difference,
there's
but
almost
see,
there's
you
almost
know what I've always
there's
seen, and
obviously we know there's major freaking difference between .com and .eth.
Mhm.
But in terms of, like, companies coming in and using .com or .eth, it doesn't matter, because from their perspective, like, it's all the same thing. Like, me and you and Bush, we are like way too into sauce. Like, we are way into sauce. Like, we are drinking so much champagne and so much sauce. There's a lot of sauce and a lot of champagne, because we understand ENS, we understand Web3, we understand Ethereum like the back of our hands. So we are so deep into the forest that we like we're looking, we're not even looking at .com. We're looking at .com, we're looking at .eth, we're looking at .ens, we're looking at .eth, the decentralized Web3. We're looking at .eth that Ethiopia owns. And we have this deep analysis that the Web3 decentralized .eth is the absolute best, because it has ultimately the very, very best features. And the .eth, like, we could even make it on chain to do the same stuff that .com does. We could, fix that at the browser level. But when we're talking about companies, so .com taking charge, .eth taking charge, that at this point, it kind of doesn't matter, because we just need companies understanding EVM. We need companies understanding crypto. We need companies understanding Web3. And every company in the world, they have multiple use cases for using Web3. And the use cases probably aren't, what we normally think, right? It's like, what do we think? Okay, you should buy Bitcoin. You should buy Ethereum. You should put it on your books. You should buy a CryptoPunk. You should buy an ENS name. You should have a crypto wallet. You should use your ENS name on Twitter, right? But there's so much more that any and every company in the world can do on an actual technical level using Web3, on a coding level, on a UI UX level, on a marketing level, on an operational level. What you can do with Web3, what you could do with Ethereum, what you could do with EVM, maybe your own L2, maybe someone else's L2. You could use off-chain data. You can use AIs. You can use Web3 agents. There, depending on what your company is, there's a lot that you can do.
But Gary,
We need them to see that, like, if you go to your business, right, go to like ChatGPT and say, hey, this is what our company does. Like, we're a tech company and we do this, or we are a consumer company and we do this. What are like 10 things we're not thinking about that we can use Web3 and blockchain at a technical level, right? There's like technology that can be built and things that people can do with this technology, and then they have to look at, okay, there's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, there's Ethereum, there's EVM, there's all the Ethereum chains, right? There's let me think, there's Solana, there's Hyperledger, like the open source sort of like IBM blockchain. There's a lot of options out there. So why do you want to use Ethereum? Why do you want to use EVM? Why do you want to have a settlement layer that all your competitors can use? Why do you want to be interoperable with, like, why does Nike want to be interoperable with Reebok? Why does McDonald's want to be interoperable with, Burger King? Why do they all want to be in the same blockchain? Why do you want McDonald's bucks to work in the same blockchain as Burger King bucks? Why do you want the McDonald's AI to work in the same blockchain as Burger King AI? Like, why do I want, right? If I'm working at McDonald's, why do I want my and so, yeah, so we just need companies to, like, because a lot of people, the whole enterprise thing, the whole company is using the blockchain. Companies like, yeah, man, it's really hard for them because they're not doing it for the feels. They got to figure out, how do they make money? How does this fit into the product? There's not a lot of people at the company that, like, understand it like we do.
Yeah, they don't care about the vibes. Hey, so look, you know what's funny
They
though,
did it
tying
with
into
Beer.eth. Beer.eth did it for the vibes. Pepsi, I own a Pepsi NFT.
Mhm.
I own
You-
a legit Pepsi NFT. You know what I mean? It's like cool. There's like only 2,000 of them or something. But they came and they left.
Yeah, they did. But one thing though, speaking of this .com, I never ever seen or agreed as .eth is the new .com. I always thought like .com is going to be a thing for businesses, and at an individual digital identity level, .eth, and that can be so much. I think I would prefer the direction it's headed of being individual digital identity because it's so much larger. It's everyone. It's global. You know what I mean? It's not. You have businesses, but for every business, you've got probably a million humans. You know what I mean? So, I think it's going to be so big, man, in the future. Like in a sense of just being able to send money around. And I always use the example like Master in China, like how when someone asks me, it's like, hey, I can just type this in his name, send money in China instantly, and it settles. You know what I mean? That's huge. And I think from an individual standpoint, man, I'm a permabull though. You know what I mean? But I'm going down with the ship, or we're going to the mountains together. But man, I never really seen .eth being .com, or never wanted it to take that stance. You know what I mean? I think from the trajectory that it's headed is so much bigger than like the business enterprise level. You know what I mean? I think they'll still use it, like you said, and we'll have some like beer.eth and whatnot, but I think just individuals using this technology is going to be huge if it gets adoption at an individual level.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the way that it's looking is that more and more people are going to have on-chain accounts, and more people are going to have access to wallets, and more people are going to have access to be able to send and receive and sign for their NFTs. And no matter which brand or website you're using, it seems like most brands are recognizing that they want to be on an EVM chain, and that having an EVM chain allows them to share the security with Ethereum, and B, it allows their stable coin or their information or their whatever to work seamlessly across the entire blockchain. And when I say the entire blockchain, I say the entire blockchain of EVM smart contracts. And you and I know that Swift has, they're working on and testing with a bunch of EVM smart contracts and layer twos. JP Morgan and Chainlink and Bank of America. All of these banks are experimenting with their layer twos. They're experimenting with stable coins. They're experimenting with smart contracts. They're all EVM compatible. They're all working together. They're all taking care of different pieces of the puzzle. Just like so many examples where, they want, companies, enterprise companies, A, want to have the security, and then B, they want to have the interoperability to go between the blockchains. And so as they come to that conclusion and they're building their technology and they're hooking into the EVM blockchain, they're going to have to label their things. You have to label your smart contracts. You have to label your NFTs. You have to label your wallets. You might want to give your users subdomains. You might want to give your employees subdomains. And so those very well could be .com, you know. Like, it's gonna be really, really interesting. If you're Budweiser, do you use Budweiser.com? Like, when you use Budweiser.com, when you use beer.com, when you use Budweiser.eth, and when you use beer.eth. Like, as a non-marketing CMO, maybe you go to AI and you ask, hey, where do we, if we have these 4 domains, if I'm the CMO and if we're the CMO and the CTO, the COO at Budweiser, and right, we have Budweiser.com, Budweiser.eth, beer.com, beer.eth. Strategically, when do we use each of these domains? Because maybe they have different use cases. Maybe you use this for this and that for that, but there's nothing stopping anyone from using a .com online, and a .com is going to speak to authority, right? So it's going to be authoritative. Like, if you see a whitehouse.gov, if come on, bro, come on, come on, bro. If you see a whitehouse.gov wallet, if you see a wallet and the wallet says whitehouse.gov, what are you going to think in your head?
They fucking come correct.
Like, seriously, like, if you see a URL, like, forget .com. If you see .gov, if you see any .gov, if you see treasury.gov, if you see whitehouse.gov,
Mm-hmm.
or oh dude, what about a .mil?
Was that the brief .military?
Yeah, it's a military URL. Like, if you see a 0x wallet, that's a .mil or a .gov. Like, that's some for real stuff right there.
That's gonna happen too. Is what's crazy. You're gonna see it.
Right. So, like, are we going to see .gov take charge? It's not a question of if we're going to see .gov take. Are we going to see .com take charge? .eth take? It's like I'm not sure that I mean, those aren't bad questions. I think they're interesting questions, but I don't think those are like the top questions, right?
Mhm.
Because, like I'm saying, like, there's going to be .gov, .com, .org. What about redcross.org? You see a wallet that says redcross.org? Take my money.
But I think you're gonna be able to use that as differentiators from businesses and individuals. You know what I mean? I think that'll be the main thing is you'll be able to, in the mixed pool of everybody digitally, you'll be able to identify the institutions from the individuals. What does that say? How much for goon.gov?
Yeah, someone's gooning. Someone's gooning for Gov. But what was your question?
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have one. I was just making a statement that in this digital landscape, you're going to see both. You're going to see like decentralized digital identity mingling with .govs, and you're going to know, you know what I mean? It's just going to be randos like on the web with freaking institutions. It's just going to be a mixture of both, and that's how you're going to identify.
Yeah, and listen, I'm gonna say something crazy, but the future is actually going to be not just ENS.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's going to be other digital identifiers besides ENS. And you and I have sort of talked about this. This is where you get the W3C, digital DID, DID, or
yeah, they've all got like requirements they're going to have to follow.
Or the DDI. Yeah, it's a DID and DDI identifiers through W3C. And so W3C is setting the standard. And then ENS is a naming protocol that fits into the W3C standard. And what this means is that there's going to be other ways to create identifiers for things. So, you know, someone might have like their own way to identify things. And then in terms of like hooking that, back into Ethereum, you're going to have to like CCIP it in with what you guys know what I mean when I say that. You're going to have to CCIP it in and like hook it in with some sort of like, basically like a .eth anyways, or an ICANN dot whatever.
Man, I just went to that because you made me think of that Web3 consortium page. I just went and
Yeah.
found that. That's like serious. There's a whole host of information on there.
We talked about this in these spaces because, and I tweeted extensively about this. Like I wrote some threads on this, like because W3C is setting the standard for W3C sets the standard for like HTML and CSS. You know what I mean?
That's
And
what it just said. Here's their introduction. I'll read it
yeah,
off. It says the World Wide Web Consortium W3C develops international web standards, Hotmail, CSS, and many more. W3C's web standards are called W3C recommendations. All W3C standards are reviewed for accessibility support by the Accessible Platform
accessibility is good.
Architectures APA Working Group. The W3C standards and working group notes introduced below are particularly relevant to accessibility. So yeah, it's almost like the guidelines for it.
Yeah, no,
For the
I mean,
internet.
I know this all, trust me, like the back of my hand. And that's all exactly right. And so you take those, and those guidelines are guidelines that come from a decentralized organization, which is W3C. It is a group of people. Those guidelines don't have to be exactly followed. A lot of those guidelines are hardcore based in accessibility. The whole accessibility angle, you can think about that as like more important than SEO. That's really, really critical from a legal standpoint through ADA compliance in the United States. And then, it has like second order and third order effects on like AI, because if you have HTML standards that are done correctly based on the best practices recommendations, and they meet all the accessibility standards for people who are, blind or visually impaired or whatnot, then those standards are now going to now help you with like AI in all sorts of way, right? With speed of the website, with clarity, with labeling, just adds all sorts of like additional semantic context. Yeah. Anyway, so like so now it was like within the past year they released their standards for the DDI and DID. Yeah, and ENS fits into that, and JP Morgan is gonna, like they were talking about the Onyx blockchain at the time, which is now the Connexus blockchain, layer 2 EVM. I forget what layer 2 tech that uses, but
Have you been to their site? Have you been to their site recently? I just went to it. It's like they've been building it out
recently
more.
they have or haven't.
They have, yeah, they've done added a lot to it. They put some info on their JPM coin. I'm sure it's ERC based.
JPM coin, yeah.
Type in Connexus. Hang on, I'll give it to you, and you can go to it.
Yeah, well, if you're doing your AI research, make sure you're asking the AI research how the Connexus blockchain from JP Morgan is interacting with the Swift tests using consensus and Linea.
Man, they have come out with a lot, Gary, on this as opposed to last time. So this is their boxes: digital assets, digital payments, which ENS falls into both. That's what I love about ENS. It checks all these boxes. It checks it's going to interact with all of this. That's the
ENS has been working with these Web2 consortiums since basically day one.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because from the very, very beginning, it was like part of the mission for ENS to be forward compatible with Web2, DNS, ICANN, and those other, you know, alphabet of organizations that make up the internet. Because ENS was never ever meant to replace .com or ICANN. ENS, ENS is strictly made to expand the internet. Because remember what I said, right? This is like really like this is like almost. I'm not sure if this is like how bad of a problem this is, but calling this the new internet, I think, is just a real disservice. Because we are abso-freaking-lutely not building a new internet. We are evolving the internet. We are evolving the internet. We are iterating. We are evolutionizing. We are transforming. We are building. We are extending the internet. The internet is going from a 2-year-old to a 10-year-old, and now it's like a college-bound, smart, you know, I don't know, like 17-year-old or something. I don't know. And yeah, jigsaw puzzle pieces. The internet is made of a jigsaw puzzle piece picture of protocols. Have you heard that the TCP/IP makes the internet, and the SMTP is the email, and the SSL is the security, and the HTTP is your browser? You know, there's all these protocols that make the internet. And ETH is a new protocol that is just a puzzle piece that expands the internet. ENS is expanding the internet, connects right next to the ICANN, connects to the DNS, connects to the W3C. Bitcoin is a protocol. It gets a puzzle piece, goes right next to the puzzle pieces like wrapped Bitcoin and, you know, WBTC and CBTC and, you know, JPBTC and PayPal BTC. There's like, right? Everyone has their version of Bitcoin on where? On Ethereum. Think about it. Like, what's the best layer 2 for Bitcoin? It's Ethereum.
Yeah, Ethereum is everywhere. If you really sit back and think about it, you know it. Everything of any magnitude is built on top of Ethereum.
Yeah, yeah, and if you look at the volume of like stable coins on Ethereum versus Solana, the volume of developers on Ethereum versus Solana.
Hey, you know what's funny? Look, this Connexus, I was on this Connexus site, and I'm pretty sure like a year or so ago is when they started talking about Connexus, where you could actually go find news on it. But it says right here on their site is 4+ years. Connexus Digital Payments has been live for 4+ years. So that means they was working on this, and that was in 22. They was not talking about this at all. That's when Jamie Dimon was still like low key bashing crypto, but they was building this in the background. Ain't that wild, man? To see that they've got it right here. It says 4+ years, and then it says transaction volume across Connexus since inception is 1.5 trillion, probably wash trades. But average daily transaction volume across Connexus is 2 billion. But that's interesting that they say 4+ years. You know what I mean? They definitely was not talking about this in public. They was experimenting in the back channels
What's
with
the,
it.
what's the domain?
Go to let me get jpmorgan.com.
Share with me somewhere.
Hang on. I'm gonna send this to you on DM on X. Probably be the easiest. Yeah, and you can just pull it up. But yeah, they built out. But that's funny. They say 4+ years. They definitely wasn't talking about this 4 years ago. I just sent it to you.
Where?
If anything, they was talking about if you're just buying Bitcoin, you're crazy. You know it. That's been another switch up too, man. That guy went a full about face on crypto policy.
Well, his daughter. You're talking about Jamie Dimon. His daughter was buying Bitcoin while he was telling people not to.
That wouldn't surprise me. I just DM'd it to you.
Yeah, I'm looking. The website went up in 2024. The end of 2024.
Yeah, but look, if you scroll down to the bottom, scroll.
I know. I just want to see when I was good. I just went to the Wayback Machine to see when the website came up, and the website went live November 2024.
But you know, I think that's around the time they rebranded from Onyx. Remember, they bought their .eth.
Right,
was it ever confirmed that they picked up the ENS? But I know they rebranded and like let it expire.
I do not know. Anyway, I'm on their website.
Yeah, you'll see it at the bottom. If you scroll down next to the bottom, you see 4+ years. Digital payments has been live, maybe internally, but it's just interesting. I'm gonna go scheme through this site later. It's a lot more information than it was the last time I looked at it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I remember when I found the rabbit hole of Connexus and found this page, and I think they do own Connexus.eth. I think I linked it back to them somehow, and that's how I found this site. I was just researching one night, and I was like, I kicked over a stone and found all this. I was like, oh my god, but that's huge, man. That especially these institutions are getting their ENS. I think they have. I'm gonna go check and see. Kinexys Connexus. All right, in that wallet, yes, just that one wallet. Oh yeah. Hang on, I'll show you. I remember what I found, Gary. All right, so they registered this domain, Connexus. There was one transaction. All right, they did this 459 days ago, right? You can go to Grails and then go to Connexus.eth and then click Etherscan from there and see what I'm talking about for anyone listening. But so if you do that and you go to Etherscan and it shows there's that one transaction where the wallet was funded, it was funded by something called Union Chain. So this is what I found last time, UNON chain. I had to research this. Union Chain provides a blockchain software solution that streamlines middle and back office operations for financial institutions. There's nothing more stands right out in your face than the Institute JP Morgan. You know what I mean? So that Union Chain is what they use to fund that wallet. So I would be willing to bet, go all in, that JP Morgan does own Connexus.eth. Because they haven't had any transactions in that wallet outside of securing that name. When does that name expire? It expires in October 19th of 27. I'm gonna snipe it. No, I'm just kidding. I would never try to get a business name like that. If anything, I would try to get it to them. But I have made some friends. I got the CEO of Ifani.eth. He owns a cell phone company for SIM swaps, like guarantees like security. You know what I mean? So I don't know what their process is, but me and him became decent friends just from interacting with him and getting him that name. I didn't charge him, you know what I mean? But he was like, man, if I can ever help you with service or anything, it's kind of cool the connections you can get just from like helping someone out in this space,
If they are receptive to being helped, some people don't like being helped.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. He was. That's probably one of the one in
Cool.
five that I've talked to that don't even respond.
Exactly.
You on that Connexus page?
Yeah, I'm on that Connexus page, man.
Went on a wormhole, man. I
Yeah,
knew
a
it.
little bit
I
of a-
knew it.
Just trying to see what's going on here. Yeah, so there's a lot going on there, and yeah, so JP Morgan is a big national global bank, and then JP Morgan works with Swift, and so there's the relationship between what Swift is doing and separately what JP Morgan is doing. And that's part of the rabbit hole that I would recommend. If you're interested in this sort of thing, that's like part of the rabbit hole is understanding, because originally the idea was that Ethereum and all this technology was going to replace the banks, but basically the banks are just adopting the technology.
They're building on top of the technology now.
Yeah, and so Swift wants to maintain what Swift does, but they want to pivot to using EVM blockchain technology for their settlements at their level.
It was Linea, right? Isn't that what we discussed they was building on?
Yep, on Linea through consensus organization. Exactly. So you got to understand, like JP Morgan can't do what JP Morgan wants to do without Swift doing what Swift needs to be doing. And so that's why we're hearing what we're hearing on the JP Morgan side, but we're also hearing what we're hearing on the Swift side. Right. and then we're hearing it like across the board. Like I don't have like there's this great like post that had like all these different things. I'll try to find it. Ugh. But there's a lot of major enterprise development with EVM at every level. Like Amazon is doing some things. Dude, oh my God, can we talk about Amazon?
Yeah, I'm not familiar, I don't think.
Oh, it's this company and they sell books online.
No, man, no, I'm talking about where you're going with this.
That was a easy bust your chops, man. Don't hate me. But yeah, no, man. Pull up. Jeez, I want to go find this other tweet too.
Was it something with them doing something on ETH or blockchain?
Like a month or two ago, I bought. I don't know if you know this or not, but a month or two ago, I bought 2 NFTs through Amazon.com. Like I went to my Amazon.com account and I bought 2 NFTs. Can you believe that?
No, I didn't know that was a thing. You even could.
Well, it was sort of like a one-time thing. You sort of had to know about it, and they like literally, dude, Amazon.com did an NFT collection release, and they sold out an NFT collection release. Do you got one of those?
No, but yeah,
Why
I
not?
would
Why don't
have.
you, why don't you have an Amazon NFT, bro?
I'm sure all of us would if you'd have told us. You're gonna hold this thing for a year or two and then shill it to us
I,
when it's
I
valuable.
probably said something.
No, I didn't know. I wasn't
Probably.
aware they did that.
Um, yeah, they did that. I think it was called Boximus.
That's cool though.
Boximus. Yeah, maybe I should pull it up. Oh man, I really wanted to find this tweet. But
Yeah, you find the tweet, I'll find the NFT.
yeah, if you I'll look for the tweet and you just look for Boximus. He basically looks like a superhero made of a box. But also, to do the share screen thing, but also go to the other side Twitter in whatever tab. But the other side Twitter, they're selling feels. They're called feels. And
Yeah, I
so
see that.
tomorrow I am going to be purchasing as many feels as I can feel with my purchasing power through my Amazon account.
Hang on. So wait, what is this? So you can purchase an NFT, a Basie NFT on Amazon? Is that
Honestly, I have no idea what it is, but what I thought it was some physical trading cards, but I don't know what it is.
Jim Ping said, "What do you think the first non-tech industries will be first to incorporate ENS.ETH?"
Oh, is that a question for what is the first
Non-tech industry? I hope it's agriculture, Bush, because I own agriculture.
No, can't we say consumer beverages because beer.eth incorporate like they literally sold cans of beer that said beer.eth.
Yeah.
Does that count?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does. They were ahead of their time with that too. You know it. I remember that. I remember, man, I remember that summer. Jesus.
Oh, good. I found the tweet. Let me see what this thing says. Okay, so before we get into the Boximus, and then we'll try to think about more non-tech industries that are going to be incorporating the ENS and .eth. But yeah, maybe let me share my screen. Texas A&M.
So it looks like Texas A&M is going to come out on top. But I guess agriculture wouldn't fall in that category because it's agri-tech. You know what I mean? Agriculture is turning into a tech industry essentially. That's where I think it's all going to lead with that.
All right.
When was this? Today?
Yeah. All right. So like bigger.
Yeah, we can see it good.
All right. So this is from Ethereum, and they were saying Ethereum is the #1 choice for global financial institutions. Over the last few months, adoption has accelerated. There are 35 stories right here on how institutions are building on Ethereum. These are at an enterprise level. So one Kraken FX launched X stocks on Ethereum. They're issuing tokenized versions of popular U.S. stocks and ETFs as ERC20 tokens. That's a big deal. Kraken's eligible clients can now deposit and withdraw fully centralized equities directly on Ethereum. So tokenized stocks on Ethereum as ETFs and ERC20 tokens on Kraken. Also, Ondo Finance launched Ondo Global Markets with Ethereum 100 plus tokenized US stocks and ETFs. So again, the tokenization of the stock market, this is low hanging fruit that is high demand, low hanging fruit, easy to implement tokenization of stocks happening across Kraken Finance, Ondo Finance, and China AMC underscore HK launched its Select USD money market fund on Ethereum. One of the
Gary,
first.
when was this post
fund.
from? Is this from recent or today or?
This was super recent. I thought.
Damn,
Let me
that's
check.
a long post. I missed
Give
that.
you.
I must have completely missed
Yeah,
that,
no,
man.
I'm going through this because this is like 2 days ago.
Yeah, go through that. I missed this completely.
This is 2 days ago. Like this is like crazy. Like this is like a ridiculous amount of information because it's like so hard to like regurgitate all of it. But we have tokenized stocks. We have tokenized money market funds. China AMCHK, one of Asia's largest firms, over $449 billion assets under management. That's AUM, assets under management, now provides access to these high quality short-term USD instruments with 24/7 settlement. So this is a high demand tokenization of US money market fund with a high volume over here. 4, Fidelity, big into crypto all the way. They introduced the FDIT tokenized money market fund on Ethereum. So the Fidelity Digital Interest Token, FDIT, this is bringing the bank's investors and speed of on-chain settlement alongside the stability of these traditional instruments. So it's just more tokenization. So we have tokenized stocks, tokenized money market fund, tokenized digital interest token. Google announced the Agent Payment Protocol, AP2, enabling AI agents to autonomously execute payments using stablecoins on Ethereum. This is built in collaboration. I'm not sure if I saw this one. Yeah, actually, this is built in collaboration with the Ethereum Foundation, Coinbase, MetaMask, and others. The AP2 allows AIs to transact securely, bridging the gap between automated intelligence and finance. So, agents using Web3 using agents. This is a two-way street. There's so much to talk about. We're not going to talk about it today. 6, we have USB, major financial corporation, Post Finance, Signum Official, the Swiss Bankers Association. They're piloting deposit tokens on Ethereum. This is demonstrating the legally binding cross-bank settlement, right? Cross-bank settlement on Ethereum's public infrastructure. This is the bulletin board of proof where different banks can share information, and this proof of concept paves the way for programmable instant cross-settlement, institutional involvement. Let's see. So we have another
Santander. Hang on. What does that say? That's a huge bank, a secondary bank.
I was just going to skip over this one. I'm like, I don't know, some random no-name bank, Santander's. They launched a ETH trading service in Germany. This is just allowing their customers to buy, sell, custody ETH directly through their bank account.
Okay.
That's so big. Like imagine.
Yeah, Santander's huge.
Imagine being able to have a bank account that just imagine being able to hold Bitcoin or Ethereum directly in your bank account. You could get an ETF. Yeah. But you're not really, if you want to hold Bitcoin or Ethereum, you're doing that on Coinbase, you're doing that on Kraken. Banks will shut down your account if they know you're doing too much crypto. Imagine like the bank allowing you to have Bitcoin, holding your Bitcoin, allowing you to have Ethereum. It's kind of scary because you don't want to be doing that in a state that has
hypothecation.
Yes, thank you. Rehypothecation laws, because the only good state on those rehypothecation laws is like maybe like Wyoming. But besides Wyoming, you might be SOL if you don't have self-custody of your own coins for like a extensive period of time. I digress. American Express launched the AMX Passport blockchain-based travel stamps minted as NFTs on Ethereum L2 base. The cardholders can now create on-chain records of experiences and memories, probably using the POAPs, from international trips, blending the loyalty rewards with digital ownership. Dude, I can't really go through all this. So Swift
Yeah,
is
it's a
doing
bunch.
stuff. We have lending through these folks. So we have Stripe expanding its crypto support on Ethereum. Major stuff. We have more NASDAQ stuff. Ant Group, big crypto company doing L2, institutionalized tokenization, big stuff. Google
God, this is
partnered
all
with
big stuff, man.
Polymarket. Google partnered with Polymarket. The largest search engine provider now leverages the Ethereum ecosystem as the primary source of truth. That's cool. JP Morgan migrated its tokenized deposit product, JP Morgan Coin, JPMD, from its internal permissioned blockchain, which is what connects us to Base. They migrated. Huh? Did you hear about this? Moving from a private chain to an Ethereum L2 will meet demand from JP Morgan's institutional clients for payments, collateral, and margin settlement on public infrastructure. Huh? That's so interesting. They said
That speaks volumes.
They said, forget the intranet. We are going full public blockchain internet. That's what JP said. F our private EVM. We're going to Base. That had to make Coinbase happy. They're working with JPM over there. Anyway, number 20. MasterCard announced it's going to build on Ethereum L2 Polygon to expand its crypto credential program for self-custody wallets, working with Mercurio. The expansion will allow for MasterCard users to send crypto using verified human-readable addresses. I don't think that's going to be using ENS. So, I don't know. That's weird. I don't know how that's going to work. It doesn't sound like interoperable, super interoperable.
Mercurio. I'm going to look that company up. I've never heard of them.
Enhancing payment use case growth with leading Web3 companies. They're paying for a yellow star. 65 people I follow. Anyway. Yeah, I wish they were doing ENS. There's so much potential there. I remember ENS was doing some biz dev with them, but for some reason it didn't super materialize. But, we'll not talk about that. So 2.75 trillion assets under management. Is that a lot? 2.75 trillion?
A little bit.
Tokenized Euro market fund on Ethereum 24/7.
That's interesting about Sony. I remember they came out with Sonium, and then it's like you didn't hear much else about it. And to see they're launching a stable coin.
Yeah, Sonium launching a stable coin.
What? But hang on, let's pause on that one for a second. From gaming to finance, Sony is building its ecosystem. I wonder if that's going to be an in-game currency one day. Gary, you think so? Do you think that could?
How many sound effects do I got to make? Is that a real question? Come on, man. Is that even a question?
From gaming, Sony. I just haven't heard anything about them since they launched.
They like, do you accept credit cards at your business?
Yeah.
How much do they take from you?
Oh yeah. No, a lot.
No, seriously. Like, do they take 2%, 3%, 5%?
I think it's 3%. Well, we don't even which we pass the fee on, but there's
imagine making like $3 million or $300,000. Like, what's 3%?
Oh, it's a lot. How would you
like to not pay 3%?
a lot.
Let's say you're Sony. Let's say you're Sony and you want to do in-game currency. And the lowest you can get is 3%. How would you like, and you're doing $1 billion. How would you like not to pay 3%?
That fee, yeah, that's huge for your bottom line for sure.
Off of like $100 million. Yeah, let's not pay 3% anymore. Yes, man, absolutely. People want to buy skins. People want to buy Sony games and buy skins. People want to play, what's a Sony game? You know what I mean? They want to play it. They want to buy skins. They want to buy upgrades. They want to put it on chain. They want to own it in their wallet. They want to have their identity. They want to pay with USDC or Sony coin. Yeah, Sony wants to make money on the interest. Sony wants to make money every time you exchange money between USDC and Sony coin, they want to make money. Every time you buy something, they're going to make money. Every time you sell something, they're going to make money. They're going to make 1% on instead of them losing 3% on everything, they're going to make 1% on everything.
That's going to be huge.
How about that? How about if we save 3% and we make and I raise you, we add 1%? How about if we pay negative 1%? How would you like to pay negative 1% instead of 3% for your credit card? That's what's going to happen. So yes, absolutely. And you know, another thing that it's sort of too early to talk about, but it's not too early to talk about micropayments. You know, you think about Sony, there's micropayments, and you think about watching movies. Imagine watching a movie and being able to buy what the villain is wearing.
What do you mean when you say micropayments?
Imagine like playing in a Sony game, right? And imagine doing something in a Sony game, setting something up for a shooter or a merchant,
and earning for that task.
And imagine making 5 cents. Imagine someone pays you like 5 cents, like every couple hours, someone comes along and pays you 5 cents.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to be a thing.
Could you imagine? Like right now, it's impossible to make that sort of payment to you without doing it like some fake credit thing. But now you can do that and scale that. And so so you can get paid. Imagine getting a salary, but getting paid instead of getting paid twice a week. Imagine getting paid per second.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to get paid for every second on the second? There's no paycheck. You just like every second. You just
instant gratification.
There's like money every second. You're just money adding to your account because you have a job. You know, imagine what else, like Sony. You know, yeah,
man, that's big.
Just buying and selling. You know, imagine if Sony lets you like, I mean, theoretically, Sony could let you buy a shop in a game. And then you can populate that shop with something, and you can it's literally a store that people go in and buy stuff, and you literally make money every time someone buys or sells something in your shop.
That makes me think of like that metaverse land. Do you know what I mean? Like a decentralized, you can build it and you can earn the micropayments on it.
Second Life was the one from the 90s and 2000s, still around. But yeah, there's also like Decentraland, and you know, I got some land in Decentraland. I got some land in CryptoVoxels. CryptoVoxels is really cool. I'm a big fan of CryptoVoxels. And now there's Other Side, and Other Side is pretty cool as well. But Sony is going to be playing in the metaverse, and Sony's going to be contending for like Ready Player One world, and they're going to be, you know, they have a movie component, they have a video game component. I'm pretty sure they have a publishing component, and now they have a finance component.
That's bullish, man. That I'm going to go on and tell you that that Sony news right there, that headline alone is bullish, super bullish for the whole gaming space.
Wisdom
know,
Tree, EU, Lido financing, the freaking CFTC pilot program with ETH and Bitcoin as collateral for U.S. derivatives market. That's crazy. ETH and digital assets integrated into regulated U.S. markets. Have you ever heard of this company called BlackRock?
a time or two.
Staked Ethereum ETF.
There's a lot of bullish news, man, in that tweet. I don't see how I missed that.
Which one? I just
This
went
tweet
over
you're
like,
reading. Yeah,
oh,
this whole because I've got notifications on for them. I must have just got lost in transmission.
this is a ridiculous tweet. It almost should have been a thread, but what's this? JP Morgan launched Moni, the first tokenized money market fund on the Ethereum mainnet. The firm seeded the fund with 100 million of its own capital, signaling their commitment to the public chain tokenization.
It's bullish
Moni.
for ETH.
Bullish for JP Morgan. You know, they got stocks, right? The JP Morgan stock. Coinbase announced Coinbase tokenize for RWAs. Robinhood, 500 tokenized assets. Arbitrum, 14 million in revenue. They like money or value.
That SoFi news is huge too. 31.
Yep. So much.
Damn, they cooked hard with this one. They just waited and waited and let it build up, and then it was like, pow!
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's a lot of information. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well, Gary, I think I'm about to get off and get back to it on this boat. And I think I'll be free Sunday if you are. You got the normal size glass today. You know, I've went through this whole stream and haven't even had a drink. No water, no
worries,
nothing.
man. No worries, man.
But yeah, I'll be in Sunday for sure. I'll be back in the saddle.
Yeah, well, it was really cool hanging out with you, talking the talk. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. So check if you're around tomorrow, check out that Amazon drop, maybe.
Yeah, I will look into it. I'm gonna research that tonight.
Yes, and then yeah, do you play with the other side? Because you're like you're a mutant.
I haven't.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. But yeah, I was reading some news on that. I'm gonna look into all that this evening or tonight. I guess it already is tonight.
Okay. Okay. All right, man. Well,
All right.
listen, man, you get back to it. I don't know what time it is, where you are, what you're doing, but it was cool, like chit chatting. We'll chit chat again sometime soon.
Yeah, it was fun catching up. I'll plan on Sunday, same time. So for anyone watching, we'll be back on here. But good chopping it up with you, and I'll see you. I'll talk to you later. All right.
I love it. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Really.